There is a small mistake most men make when hugging a woman, and the strange part is that many of them never even notice it. Curious. It's a subtle detail, but the moment it happens, her subconscious picks up on it and quietly labels it as a lack of masculine presence. The truth is, very few men have ever been shown how to hug a woman in a way that actually feels right. In this video, you're going to understand 3 different kinds of hugs and what each one silently communicates to her on a deeper emotional level. Curious. And then there is a 4th kind of hug. That one is different. It's the hug that makes a man memorable, the kind that stays in her mind long after the moment ends. Thoughtful. Strangely, almost nobody ever talks about it. So stay with me for a moment. Curious. This is, and here we talk openly about female psychology and real social dynamics. The goal is simple: to explain what many women genuinely feel but rarely express out loud. Size. No judgment, just honesty. Before we go further, it's important to understand something. Reassuring. If you've made this mistake before, don't be hard on yourself. Most men have. No one ever actually taught you this. Growing up, society gave men plenty of advice about how to talk to women or how to behave around them, but when it came to physical interaction, especially something as simple as a hug, that part was usually skipped. So relax, take a breath. Exhales. Today, you're going to see it in a completely different way. There's a basic principle in female psychology that explains why this matters so much. Thoughtful. Women experience emotion first, and logic comes afterward. While a man may be thinking through the situation in his head, wondering what to do or how to act, her body has already reacted to his presence. This response happens on a biological level. The limbic system in the brain processes emotional signals before the logical mind has time to catch up. Curious. And a hug goes directly to that emotional system. It bypasses conversation, explanations, and overthinking. In just a few seconds of physical contact, her body quietly answers questions she may not even realize she's asking. Does this man make me feel comfortable? Curious. Does he feel grounded and confident? Does he seem secure in who he is? Surprised, those impressions form almost instantly. A man can be intelligent, successful, and even charming in conversation. But if the hug creates the wrong feeling, size, her body may override everything else he has shown so far. If this idea is starting to click for you, then you're already seeing something most people overlook. Now let's talk about what commonly goes wrong. Sarcastic. The first mistake is the weak hug. You've probably experienced this one before, either giving it or receiving it. It's the hug where the arms barely wrap around the other person. The bodies stay distant and the contact feels hesitant. Chuckles. The pressure is so light that it almost seems like the person is worried about getting too close. Instead of feeling warm or natural, it feels unsure, like someone pulling back even while trying to hug. Curious. That small hesitation is exactly what her subconscious notices. Even though it might look polite on the surface, emotionally it can come across as uncertainty or lack of presence. And that tiny signal can change how the entire moment feels without either person consciously realizing why. Sometimes the hug is even more distant. It turns into that quick one-arm side hug people often give out of politeness. You know the one. The bodies stay turned away. The contact is brief, and it feels more like a formality than a real moment. On the surface, it seems harmless, but psychologically it sends a quiet message. It suggests hesitation, uncertainty, and a lack of grounded presence. Her mind may not analyze it step by step, but her emotions still register it. Somewhere in the background, her subconscious reads it as a man who isn't completely sure of himself. And that subtle feeling tends to linger longer than people realize. Then there's the opposite mistake, which is just as damaging. This is the overly aggressive hug. Instead of hesitation, it swings too far in the other direction. The squeeze becomes too strong, the hug lasts far longer than the moment calls for, or the hands drift to places that clearly don't match the situation. Some men think that intensity feels confident, but in reality, it comes across as invading someone's personal space. What she actually feels in that moment is discomfort. It signals a lack of awareness and sensitivity. Almost instantly, a question forms in the back of her mind. Does he respect my boundaries? The moment that doubt appears, any sense of attraction can disappear just as quickly. The third mistake is something people rarely talk about, yet it happens all the time. It's what you could call the ghost hug. Physically, you're there, your arms are around her, but mentally, you're somewhere else entirely. Maybe your eyes are scanning the room. Maybe your body is stiff and tense, like you're unsure what to do. Sometimes the hug ends abruptly, almost like touching someone made you nervous. The problem here isn't the pressure or the timing. It's the absence of real presence. She feels the lack of connection. It gives the impression that she isn't truly important in that moment, that your attention was never really with her. And oddly enough, that can feel even worse than a weak hug. So what actually creates the right feeling? What makes a hug memorable instead of forgettable? It comes down to presence and intention. This idea of presence and emotional connection is something I explore deeply in my full guide called Secrets of Attraction. But the key idea is simple. A confident hug feels grounded, steady, and natural. You don't hesitate or wait for awkward signals. You gently lead the moment. Your posture matters more than you might think. Standing with your feet firmly on the ground creates physical stability, and that stability quietly communicates emotional steadiness as well. One hand rests between her shoulder blades, while the other settles comfortably around the middle of her back. The bodies meet naturally, chest to chest, with consistent but comfortable pressure. Not crushing, not distant, just balanced. And there's one small detail most men overlook completely: breathing. When you breathe normally during the hug, your body stays relaxed. That calmness transfers to her. People mirror emotional states without realizing it, so when you're relaxed, her body relaxes too. Timing also plays a role. Around 2 to 4 seconds is usually the sweet spot. It's longer than a quick, polite tap, but it doesn't stretch into something awkward. It's just enough time for her body to register the moment and quietly recognize that you're comfortable and confident. And how you end the hug matters just as much as how you begin it. Instead of pulling away suddenly, you release the hug calmly. As you step back, your hands might briefly glide down her arms before letting go. Then you meet her eyes with an easy smile. That closing moment often leaves the strongest impression. Every hug, no matter how short, gives a small preview of who you are as a person. It's a tiny expression of your character and energy. She may never consciously analyze it, but the feeling it creates stays with her long after the moment is over. From this point on, you're aware of something most men never even consider. That small detail alone can completely change how your presence is felt. If you want to keep learning how genuine attraction really works, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. There are many emotional signals women feel but rarely explain, and we'll continue uncovering them together here on Inspired by Ponce.